Welcome to Monza for the GT4 European Series, powered by the RAFA Racing Club. It's Monza, it's Italy, it's 102 years of history. The first race yesterday was an absolute cracker. 50 cars came out to play, and play they most notably did. We're not using the bank circuit, more's the pity. Phenomenal piece of racing tarmac. We're using the regular Grand Prix circuit, the heavy braking into 3 chicanes, the hard acceleration, and that wonderful sweep through the Lesmo curves, Curva Grande, and also Parabolica. Probably not in that order. However, we've got an amazing grid of cars here. Robert Consani on pole. Air temperature rising gradually as the sun burns off the clouds. Nearly 21 degrees. Track temperature creeping up. 33.5 degrees. Yesterday when they were racing it was warmer. That was later in the day. We saw track temperatures of 40 degrees. So it's constantly changing. And one new feature for 2024 was a brand new surface. The track's been resurfaced. Different level of grip. More grip. But they still had to work out how hard they could push on the various corners. How the cars should be set up. And it's a real case of making sure their cars start at the front. Right, we come here with a 39-point lead to this second race for one of the elite motorsport McLarens that have had such a strong year. It's Tom Leben who'll be starting this race and Josh Rattican. They know they'll be champions if they win with Consani and Lariche's Audi 5th place or lower. That car is starting on pole position, but it's only one place ahead, or it's alongside, if you will, Tom Leben. So the championship leading car is on the front row. So that was a really strong and important job. In yesterday's race, they got close to all sorts of action that was really not what they wanted at this point when they were trying to just gather points across the season. Other cars seem to be very close to them at times and constantly threatening to knock them out of the race. But if they also finish second, that means Consani and Arish will lose out if they're 8th place or lower. If they finish third, that is, when I say they, I mean Rattican and Leben, then their rivals have to finish 10th or lower for the title to be sorted here. Or will it go on to the final races where we head to Jeddah at the end of November? Think about that, the Jeddah Grand Prix circuit that's been used several times now. Super fast, many corners, very flat out corners around that circuit. But here we are with another circuit that has speed very much in its veins. Monza opened in 1922 and been entertaining ever since. Brilliant racing, steeped in history. And for all the crews out there, they want that a slice of history. They want to put their name on the winners' charts here and be built into the fabric of this circuit. But let's go down. And we've got 3 cars not starting, and Rafa Martinez is driver of one of those, and he's going to tell us why he's probably feeling so disappointed.
Rafa, disappointing. You're not obviously in your fire suit. The car's not on the grid. What's the problem?
Yeah, we had a bit of damage after being T-boned in turn 1 yesterday. The frame got twisted up a little bit, and so we couldn't get it repaired overnight. So it's going to require us to do some ultrasonic testing on the tub, doing a whole reframe on the car. And yeah, unfortunately, we won't be able to grid, but we do have a car in P4 fighting for a podium, so hopefully that goes really well for them.
Absolutely. Is it quite nice to be down on the grid and just filming? I saw you just before I spoke to you, just making a little social media video.
Yeah, I was actually on live on our page. So yeah, I love just being on track in general. So it's a bum that, I'm bummed out that I can't be on track, but here to support the team. And at the end of the day, I'm part of the team and a team owner in a sense. So I love just being out here and supporting it. So yeah, having a good time.
Thank you very much.
Yep,
See you next time.
See ya.
So that's Rafa Martinez. So he and John Lancaster, they were going so well yesterday. Disappointing for them not starting. But when he mentioned the sister car, fellow American Cameron Lawrence will be kicking that off. And he's sharing that with Gemma Hepworth. And they're starting the 81 car right at the sharp end of the field. Right. The elite motorsport McLaren's been going incredibly well here. This is the one starting on the inside of the second row. Tom Empson on board that. That's starting third. That had a really good, strong run yesterday. And he knows full well that he actually, that car went from 5th at the start to 3rd, a brilliant start, and it always funnels down into that first chicane, and any little slip there can cost you, but he was his teammate was very positive in that yesterday. Alex Denning, brilliant start to the race for the Irish driver. So the fans now soaking up the sun, but it's the front row we need to look at. It's championship leader Tom Leben in the 78 Elite Motorsport McLaren. He'll be starting today. We swap over the start driver from yesterday, Josh Rattican. Rattican will go second. You can see the 2 elite McLarens, yellow with the black stripe, and you can see the red, yellow and blue Audi on pole position. Robert Consani matching the feet of his longtime teammate Benjamin Lariche. They've taken pole for both of the races. It's so competitive. The car 4th on the grid is another McLaren. That is Cameron Lawrence. But let's go down. The championship leading car will have Tom Leben on board. Let's hear about the driver who's coming second in that car, Josh Rattican.
Josh, you're part of a sterling lineup, we can say, in the McLaren here on the front row, leading the championship, and a nice clear track ahead of you.
Yeah, I mean, me and Tom obviously spoke before the race, so we're really looking forward to this one. Obviously, yesterday we had a bit of a few little incidents, but it's okay. We brought the car home with some solid points for the championship, still leading it. So fingers crossed, like I say, clean track in front of us. Let's see what we can do.
I guess the hardest part is the eager beavers behind you, and there's a lot of them.
Yeah, there's 55, 56 cars behind us. It's quite scary going to turn one. You never know what's going to happen. But I've got my fingers crossed for Tom. I know he can do it.
Well, hopefully we'll see you on the other side. Have a great race.
Thank you.
Eager beavers don't get too many except on a racing grid, so that is the view from the front of the grid. But it's so nervous, even if you're sitting on a large championship lead, as they had, anything can happen. Into the 3 chicanes around Monza, it always does happen, right? Cameron Lawrence, he's in the third of the McLarens on the grid. This is the one we heard from Rafa Martinez, is his team, the Rafa Racing Club team. He's got Gemma Hepworth waiting to take over in the second half of the race. McLaren's really, really coming on strong. The next row is a Ford Mustang and an Aston Martin. You can see as you look down the grid, row behind that, an Aston Martin and a Ford Mustang, just to keep the variety going. Then an Aston Martin and a Porsche, a Mustang and a Porsche. We work our way down the order, but 50 cars. In fact, we should start with 47. I'll just run you through the 3 cars that are not starting. We heard from Rafa Martinez about how his McLaren Artura, number 812, is not starting. Another car missing is the number 36 Code Racing Alpine. Let's go to hear from the pole starting car, the driver who's going second in that, Benjamin Lariche.
A double pole and hopefully a double victory this weekend. That would round it off quite nicely, wouldn't it?
Yes. Now we have to focus to the start because last year we crashed at the first corner, so we focus at past the first corner, the Primera Variante, and after we know we have an advantage on the top speed, and we have to keep the tires to try to do the same results than yesterday. It's important for the championship, so.
Just need it to settle down and get some clear air.
Yes. Sorry,
You want the race to settle down and for you to get a nice gap.
It's very, very important to win a second time this weekend, to have a chance to be champion at Jeddah.
Bon courage.
Merci.
Bon course.
Bye-bye.
Benjamin Lariche, yeah, he mentioned that yesterday, or his teammate mentioned it yesterday, about losing it at the first corner 12 months ago here. But yesterday, certainly Benjamin haired clear at the start of the race and let all the trouble occur behind him. And again, by starting on pole position today, his teammate Robert Consani has a chance of making that break at the front of the race. And just to finish, it was the number 36 Code Racing Development Alpine of Nelson Panciatici and Antoine Leclerc that's not starting, and the final car that's missing is the number 4 AV Racing Porsche Cayman, Lonnie Martins and Sasha Botterman. Ford Mustangs getting stronger and stronger in the championship. This is Marco Signoretti. He'll be starting his car, number 61, very nicely from 5th on the grid. So certainly the big front engine Fords looking really rather fine indeed. That's Academy Motorsport. And the sister car is starting just outside the top 10. Matt Nicol-Jones, I think, starting in 11th place. But an amazing array of cars. At the moment, we've got Audi from 3 McLarens, a Ford, 2 Aston Martins, another Ford, another Aston Martin. Best of the Porsches is Renhofer down in 10th position. GT4 started small, has grown and grown and grown, and 51 cars on the entry list. We lost one yesterday, so we started with 50. Sometimes the track simply doesn't feel large enough. These cars so similar in performance, and it's also about making it work across the entirety of a GT4 race. It's about keeping your tyres sweet through your stint. Don't push too hard too soon. Your brakes won't like you. Your tyres won't like you for doing that. But today, let's see how it unfolds. But we've got an incredible array of cars. We've got a few quick drivers, didn't get their qualifying times in as they'd have liked. So they're starting down the order. We'll see and look out for their progress up through the field. But really, the big guns are at the front. All the crews that are sitting well placed in the championship have done what is required of them thus far in this meeting. As we get to the sharp point in the championship, well worth pointing out, of course, that the final round, they're going to have to wait. They're going to have to wait till the end of November for that one. That's at Jeddah. Be a circuit new to all of them. Circuit that will probably spook a lot of them because it's so super fast. But right now, the car's going away. The pace car leads them around. So we've got Robert Consani leading around on this side to lap. Tom LeBon, the championship leader, sitting on a tidier championship advantage. He'll want to stay in the first 2 positions and keep the hooligans behind him. I say the hooligans, it's just people trying to outbrake each other into any of the 3 chicanes. The first and second chicanes are the ones you really need to watch. heat. The track temperature's getting warmer, the air temperature is rising, but the drivers focus on what lies ahead. Robert Consani, his car won yesterday. He starts from pole position alongside the championship leader. Then Tom Empson and Cameron Lawrence, both in McLarens on road 2. Row 3, the Ford Mustang of Marco Signoretti, Jamie Day alongside in his Aston Martin. Josh Miller, Nico Verdonk, Aston Martin and Ford. Then we've got Aston Martin combination. This car went very well yesterday, the 74 from Racing Spirit of La. And Renhofer alongside Vimahua Motorsport. Sister car, Nikolai Moller-Madsen, former champion, starts 12th. Laurent Ergon, he's leading the AM class, just needs literally to finish to take victory in that class. Then a whole host of names looking sleek. Good to see an increasing pace from the Lotus. Mahiki Racing, Max Bird starts in 18th place. Max Kronberg in behind. Gabriele Piano, always watch out for him in a BMW. He is very rapid. Alexander Weintraub starts 21st alongside Alexandra Papadopoulos. They finished at the sharp end of the field yesterday, so look for progress from them. And still the names come. Jean-Mathieu Leandri, you see him starting 28th. He had a really good run yesterday in the AM class. Maybe more of the same today. And the all-female entry there, Cindy Goudet, will start the race and hand over to Gabriela Jilkova. Then Mahmoud Evolution Toyota. Florian Griso in behind, Richard Wolff. Sasha Bottoman, I think that car was not starting. I may be wrong there, but I had a message that was the case. And then a few Toyotas. Expecting a bit of progress of both of those. Joachim Walder starting 39th. These are big numbers on the grid because we have a large number of cars on the grid. Jean-Laurent Navarro, that was a car in the battles, in the wars yesterday. Anthony Chodson's family car as they come back, starting 42nd. Then Josh Kerridge in the second of the Mahiki Racing cars. Yes, 47 cars on the grid. And Anthony DeBarn bringing up the rear in the Chazelle Technology course. That was a car that went well yesterday, so we'll look for progress from that one. So, drivers trying to keep cool while they're trying to get their tyres hot. Here we are, championship lead by 39 points. Tom LeBon's in the car. Josh Rattican will be watching the first half of the race, then he'll take over. Robert Consani and Benjamin Lariche, they're starting one position ahead of them in pole position. If they can bag another win, it will give them hope. But I think for Rattican and Leban, it's just about steering clear of trouble, finishing the top 2 or 3, and that really pretty much puts the championship into their lap. But they still will require performance of other drivers around them. Laurent Hergon leading the AM class, sharing with Pascal Hutto. He's going to be carrying one of our cameras. Every single onboard camera is going to catch so much action. That's what the European GT4 series is all about. It's the most remarkable class. The numbers have grown and grown, the capacity grids everywhere we visit. And of course, we've got cars running in 3 classes. You've got the silver class, then the Pro-Am class, and the AM class. So we'll keep an eye on all of that. And it's just worth pointing out that the number 3, Robert Consani, Benjamin Lariche car is running in the silver class. Just looking to see who is the top Pro-Am entry. It's the top AM entry is Laurent Ergon, who's down in about 13th position. Look at the AM class. Laurent Ergon, Pascal Hutto, well clear. I think they have to finish in 9th place in class. That they should manage. They're way ahead of most of their rivals on the grid. Right. Now's the time to get super serious. Audi on pole position on the left-hand side of your screen. And then come the 2 McLarens from Elite Motorsports, 2nd and 3rd. Riding a little bit further down the order, this is 13th place. Well, that's the view we're seeing from Laurent Ergon's Alpine. Again, it's just shunting it back and forward. They're going to wait and see when the cars in front of them go. The Lamborghini pace car is going to pull through the Parabolica. The lights will be off on its roof bar. And it's up to all the drivers to show why they're pros and top AM drivers. Performing in GT4 on the European stage. They're going to try. No one can overtake the pole starter until they get onto the start-finish straight, until the lights go green, and then it's a case of getting the hammer down. But the big question is, when is that the 5 red lights going to suddenly go to 3 green lights? It's a long run through the perpetually turning Parabolica turn. Outside of the front row, the number 78 McLaren, Tom Leban. Is he going to be cool, calm and collected? Is he going to try and take a jump on the race-leading, pole-starting Robert Consani? Off they go. Consani's got the Audi into the lead. Looks like a good start from both of the elite McLarens behind, and probably Cameron Lawrence as well in 4th place. But the pole starter into the lead. Tom Leban marking off the inside line. Doesn't want to go behind teammate Tom Empson. Tom Empson braking late. Oh, a little bit of twitch from the championship leader, and Empson looks like he might be going around the outside into the first corner. Will he get out into 2nd place? always been to sort out. Cameron Lawrence got a little bit out of line, and one of the tail enders from Vimmerwerk Motorsport is joined by a host of other cars running down the escape road at the first chicane. But a fabulous drone shot here as the cars escape. You can see those that came out of the chicane wrongly losing momentum through Biasoni. But our pole starting Robert Consani has got the job done there. The Mustangs appear to be on the charge. But the Elite Motorsport McLarens in second and third positions. The big question right now is in which order are they as they come through? Is it Levin ahead of Empson? From a championship point of view, the team would really want Tom Levin to be in second place. Now making a challenge. Levin is in second place and trying to unseat Robert Consani into the second of the Lesmos. Better exit from the corner. Can he get the drag, get close enough to get a real toe from the Audi? He's trying to actually pull alongside. No, tuck under the rear wing, running alongside. And if there's any slip up, the second of the Elite Motorsport McLarens may gain an advantage. Tom Levin is showing serious intent. Can he unsettle Robert Consani? Consani's going to brake as late as he possibly can into the third chicane, almost touching nose to tail all the top 6-7 cars there. Cameron Lawrence is the driver at the back of that pack. He started fourth, so he's lost a couple of positions. So that's the first attack on Consani. We've got waved yellow flags. Look at, safety car. Just suddenly see the signal there. Well, we've got a couple of fallers and the bright green car. I think that's the Nova Racing Cayman. That's certainly one that stands out. Should be Daniel Nilsson. There it is. There's the signal coming up on screen. Hardly surprising. 47 starters, 3 chicanes, and early in the lap. Nilsson, you never know, was it his own fault going off or was he given a helping hand? The cars are so competitive and so close to each other. You know, so many things can happen. And with the 3 chicanes over the decades at Monza since they were put in 1972, cars have tripped over them endlessly, but it has been a point in which you can certainly gain an advantage, and don't the drivers try. However, Robert Consani came under real pressure through the second of the Lesmos, but he leads around behind the safety car. Second place is championship leader Tom Levin. His teammate Tom Empson tucked in behind in third. Marco Signoretti gained a position in his Ford. Jamie Day just in behind the Mustang in 5th place in his Aston Martin. Nico Verdonk, number 1 Aston Martin, up into 6th place. Let's take a look at the start of the race. Clean start from Robert Consani in pole position. It was a question of what the others were doing. Bit of ducking and diving between the 2 Elite Motorsport McLarens, desperate to hold on second and third. But Empson on the outside looked as though he was going to take second place from his teammate. He came across. Cameron Lawrence, the red, white and black McLaren from the RAFA Racing team, lost out a little bit. And it was those from about 30th place downwards in this 47 car field who just tripped over each other and had to run between those polystyrene blocks. But then it was a question of, yes, that angle shows how Cameron Lawrence just couldn't get the braking done, had to run wide. Middle order, absolutely great. The background of shot, you can see a whole host of Toyotas in particular seeming to run straight ahead down the escape road. But the big question was, where did that... oh, well, there we are. Entrance to the second chicane, and Daniel Nilsson given a little bit of a helping hand, and that was him rotating and out of the race. Safety car in at the end of the lap, so you can see the bright lime green Porsche that went for a spin. That's been pulled to a point of safety. Well, I suppose it was fortunate that he parked it at the entrance of the second chicane, sort of between the entrance and the exit, but they've managed to get it to a position of safety. So for all these drivers, the message will be coming through. The safety car is in at the end of this lap. That is the message. Focus, focus. Don't waste any places you've gained. That will be the message from the team chiefs. If you gain positions, hold on to them. But then there is the question of how hard do you resist if someone is barreling up your inside. By the way, Laurent Ergon hung on very nicely. He actually gained a position leading the AM class. He's moved up into 12th position and leading the silver class. The Pro-Am class. I think we have to look somewhat further down the order. I'll get to that in a moment. Yeah, I think leading the silver, the Pro-Am class is Max Kronberg in 20th position in the WNS Motorsport Porsche Cayman. I beg your pardon. Look a bit further up, Bruce, and you'll find Noah Abramczyk leading that in 14th overall. So I went colourblind for a second. Right, the field is being released. The safety car has withdrawn. The teams have heeded that. Now the driver looks as he's on the move. It's Jamie Day. Look for the Aston Martin right behind the red, white and black Ford Mustang. He's being given the outside line. I think the Liqui Moly-sponsored Mustang may be able to hold on. They're both absolutely getting onto the tail of those 2 Elite Motorsport McLarens. But unfortunately on the grass goes the Aston Martin. Oh, dearie me. Jamie Day tried to make the manoeuvre. He's the latest driver to go up the escape road. Any places gained will have to be hung back. And as soon as one driver gets it wrong at the first chicane, a lot of others seem to go off in sympathy. That was a real push. In fact, Jamie Day was not the Aston Martin who went off. It may well have been, well, I'll work that one out later. I thought that having had that great push and the battle with the Liqui Moly Ford, Marco Signoretti, that it was him that went wide. It was one of the cars that had been tucked in just a little bit further back that got a bit wide and loose and went up the escape road. Orange and white Wimmerworth, but Porsche's starting to make a bit of progress. Tail of the top 10. All over the tail of Nico Verdonk there, the number 1 white and 2 shades of blue Ford Mustang. Cameron Lawrence trying to regain positions. He started 4th, fell to 8th on the opening lap, just was pushed a little bit wide or went a little bit wide at that first chicane. 2 abreast under the bridge, back into the daylight. And what's happening right now? Tom Leben holding on to position and then place gained by Cameron Lawrence. That was very bold, but Nico Verdonk, he's been around the block a few times. He wasn't prepared to risk it all just to defend that position. Yesterday we saw Benjamin Lariche just edging clear at the front of the field. Today his teammate Robert Consani is doing the same. Then come the 2 elite McLarens and another move, and this is Jamie Day up the inside of Marco Signoretti. Didn't quite get the move done on the start-finish straight and has definitely done it on the run from the Ascari chicane. And look how that front gaggle of cars has made a break. That is quite ominous for the rest of the opposition. Looks like the big points are going to go to the top 5 cars. Then a bit of a gap. 6th place Cameron Lawrence, but remember, Lawrence has done the overtaking. Maybe he can catch them up. Gaggle after gaggle of car. Who's going to have a move? Anyone? Nico Verdonk has a little look up the inside, and then he turns in, and then suddenly one of the Wimmerworth Porsches. Oh dear, we saw a little bit collision yesterday from Raphael Renhofer, and I'm afraid he's done it again, slamming into the door of the Ford. Hopefully no damage done there, but that was a case of ambition. Just trying to brake just slightly too late for the first corner. And tucked in behind Matt Nicol-Jones is trying to take advantage of a slight loss of momentum of the Wimmerworth Porsches. Look for the big Mustang. There it is. Hasn't quite made the position, but he's certainly putting the pressure on into the second chicane. By the way, the gap between first and second in the race is 0.8 of a second. Super slow-mo at the chicane. Oh, dearie me, first chicane. That was a billiard ball hitting another billiard ball, or pool if you prefer. Nico Verdonk, innocent party. I'm afraid Raphael Renhofer using him as his breaking point. 0.8 of a second was the gap between first and second. Looks like it's actually come down a little bit. I think Robert Consani is now being caught by Tom Leben. Every time they come around that second Lesmo, they never know how much grip there's going to be because cars have been still putting gravel onto the circuit there. But Tom Leben getting his head down now in second place. Teammate Tom Empson tucked in behind, just a quarter of a second down in third place. Looks though the Wimmerworth Porsches have got past. No, sorry, it's Matt Nicol-Jones who's catching them. The Ford in front of them, the one with the blue nose, coming into the behind Cameron Lawrence is Nico Verdonk. Then the 2 Wimmerworth Porsches, and Matt Nicol-Jones is all. Do I want to be on the outside around Parabolica? No, possibly tuck onto the inside. That definitely would have been a move that could have come and unravelled on him. Race leader, last time advantage of 0.832 of a second. It's down to under half a second. Tom Leben definitely had a better chasing lap that time around. There is the gap, half a second. That's what it looks like as they turn into the first corner. Robert Consani still leading in his Audi, but how's it going to work for those 2 McLarens in behind? Nico Verdonk bouncing off the curbing. The Wimmerworth Porsche's not wanting to let him get away, but last time around, just remember one of them, the number 92 car, gave him a clatter. And now, in fact, Nikolai Moller-Madsen, former European GT4 champion, moves up a position. But it's going to be super close. It's swinging back and forwards between them. If it runs like this the whole way to the end of this race, an hour of racing for the GT4 European Series, if Robert Consani can hang on, hand over to Benjamin Lariche, and his fellow French racer can hang on as well all the way to the finish, it will close the points gap. But taking second place, Tom Leben, who's in the car right now. Oh, suddenly a mistake there. Gosh, well, that was strange. It was almost like a missed gear there. Yeah, look, he's had a bit of a clunk on the front left-hand corner. You can see the bodywork has been chatted about to put another one of the Porsche Caymans off very nearly. Oh, yeah, bodywork running properly on the tyre. Going around the outside, that's really unfortunate. Let me help you into the gravel. No complaints there because it was just unfortunate. You have to choose one side or the other, but unfortunately for Richard Wolff, he was on the outside and the tattered car kept on going that way. Put him on the grass. Right. Under half a second between the race leader, Robert Consani. Tom Leben, championship leader, tucked in behind. If he finishes ahead, he pretty much knows he's got this one in the bag. But if he stays in second, that's a really good position to be, because they can take the title as long as Consani and Lariche finish 8th or lower. Take the title here before they even go to the final couple of races in Saudi Arabia at the end of November. Right, let's ride on board. Car number 55 in the middle of the pack, getting super busy. This is the car that's leading the AM class. The all-French crew, Laurent Ergon, just outside the top, said, oh, it's busy. Why have 3 abreast when you can drive 4 abreast down the start-finish straight? This is just the tail end of the top 10. The Mustang braking, snaking with Matt Nicol-Jones, just gets the braking done into the chicane. And the Borissan Automotive BMW car number 11, Pedro Ibrahim, the Brazilian racer, getting very, very busy indeed. What type of racing do you like the most? Competitive racing. It can't get much more competitive than this. It's not push and shove. Occasionally it's push and shove, but it's absolutely neck and neck. And a couple of cars possibly picking up punishment. Car number 69 is one that's got punishment coming its way for a transgression in Mahiki Racing Lotus. Stephen Lake and Jordan Kerridge. Jordan would have started the race. And they'll have to serve an extra 10 seconds at their pit stop. At that moment, I just want to correct. I thought it was Raphael Renhofer who'd had the collision with the number 1 Ford of Nico Verdonk. It was the other Vimmerwerk Porsche that was had been right with them, and that was Nikolai Moller-Madsen, the former champion. But right now, at the start of the race, are we looking at the future champion? Bit of debris on the track as they head out of the Ascari chicane. I think they'll move to the left or the right. At the last minute, the race leader, Robert Consani, it's almost so he hadn't quite seen it. He's got Tom Leben behind, Tom Empson behind him, and Jamie Day, who's had a really good run in his Aston Martin, car number 82. Gained several positions at the start, but are we looking at this year's champion? Could it be clinched here today? Gabriele Piana, bottom of shot there, just gaining a handful of positions. He's really worked his way up the order. 15th at the start of this lap, much further down the grid at the start of the race. Look for the pack of cars coming just onto the start-finish straight now, and that white BMW certainly making progress. First four running almost nose to tail, half a second between Robert Consani and Tom Leben. The 5th and 6th battle is looking quite exciting because Marco Signoretti's now got the recovering Cameron Lawrence in behind him. Nico Verdonk a little bit further back, another 2 and a bit seconds further back, holding down a lonely, for now, 7th position. Aston Martin side by side, and number 74, David Coleman, he was the one that sort of lost out in the first couple of laps and went wide, regained the position, and is now working his way back up the order. Sister car to Jamie Day's car that's running in that 4th place. So the moves are coming all the time as some of the drivers working their way up through the field. And unfortunately we saw the front corner damage to the number 22 Porsche. And for Suleiman Zanfari, the damage presumably enough to take him out of the race. So that was really unfortunate. Also unfortunate for the number 60 Porsche that ended up with Richard Wolff bouncing through the gravel because he guessed it was best to go around the outside at the Lesmos, and it didn't work that way with the injured car, the damaged car just in front of him running wide and putting him off into the gravel. Robert Consani really looking comfortable in the lead of the race. So champion-elect Tom Leben behind him is just going to keep putting the pressure, and see what happens. In behind, Tom Empson in 3rd place. It was a real upswing of form for Tom Empson in the second Elite Motorsport McLaren yesterday. The best results until yesterday was a 16th. They grabbed 4th yesterday. They're running 3rd today. So the young crew learning as they go through the season. I said look out for a Gabriele Piana. There he is, not 75. That Porsche is being driven by the car that is 2nd in the AM class, Naima Bramczyk. I beg your pardon. Top in the Pro-Am class, I beg their pardon. But Gabriele Piana has found him, caught him, passed him, and in turn, he's been pushed very hard. Is it Josh Miller? I think the Aston Martin has come down the outside, 3 abreast down the start-finish straight. Oh, is this going to end or just go smoothly through the first chicane? Let's have a look. 3 abreast they are, just in behind the other Borissan Automotive car. And Piana's in number 12, gets that position. Very, very busy bit of circuit down there, and Bramczyk just shoveled back a little bit, but he's got his own battle. He's in the Pro-Am class. And a full course yellow is coming our way in 10 seconds, so the drivers all get the message. Some get it a little later than the others, and they slow down to the mandatory limit. So is this because of debris in track? No, the debris is the number 90 Toyota Gazoo Racing Sweden entry of Hans Holmlund. And that's been shoveled off or fallen off into the gravel. So disappointment for the Swedish Toyota crew. And very quickly, a rescue truck coming into position. They'll get that hooked up. The full course yellow will give a safety cover for all the crews. And down at the chicane, deep in the gravel at the third chicane, that Toyota, was it helped there? Did it end up on its own? Matters not right now. It's about getting it out. Let's take a look at the replay. So here we are coming up to the Ascari chicane. It was Toyota on Toyota, and number 90 was on the outside line and shoveled around, diminishing returns up the slope there. A couple of wheels, actually, the right-hand wheels possibly slightly on the grass as the two cars fought over the same piece of circuit, and Hans Holmlund was the driver who lost out. So still little bits of debris. Maybe they can be cleaned up under full course yellow. Probably not, actually, but we will wait and see. Let's just run you down through the classes. Laurent Ergon leads the AM class in 11th place overall. Noah Abramczyk just lost a couple of positions to Gabriele Piane and David Kuhlmann. He is leading the Pro-Am class in 15th place. Then a whole host of silver class runners. Miller, Benjamin Lessen, Enzo Giuli, Max Bird and Alexander Papadopoulos. Papadopoulos working his way up the order. And like yesterday, the car of Etienne Chelly and Enzo Giuli, which won the opening race of the championship back at Port Ricard in April, has started poorly from a poor grid position and is making up ground. It's an hour of racing, but of course some of the full racing speed time is being consumed behind this full course yellow. All the cars running at a bated pace, a fixed abated pace, waiting, a chance for the drivers to cool down, but it's also a chance, unfortunately for them, for their tyres to cool down, for their brakes to lose a bit of temperature. So as soon as they possibly can, you can see some of the drivers now just doing all they can to get the heat into their rubber to keep it fresh. And that's Matt Nicol-Jones, I think, in the background of the shot, behind the two Porsches, 91 and 92, orange and white race livery. There from Wimmerwork Motorsport. And it's Nikolai Moller-Madsen and Raphael Renhofer within the top 10. Well placed, they're advancing slightly from their grid positions. And it was car 66, by the way, that had contact with the 90, the Toyota that went into the gravel. Car 66, another Toyota, and that's from Matmut Evolution. It was Cindy Goudet. And she will have Gabriela Jilkova taking that over when the pit stop windows open. But that's under investigation. No punishment as yet, but the race officials are taking a look. And during this time, I'm just gathering, we lost car number 19 has come to a halt. And that's a shame for them. Car 19 is Antoine Leclerc. It's Nelson Pansucci, Antoine Leclerc. I thought that car hadn't started the race, but clearly it did. There were reports it may not be able to make the start, but they started it, and maybe if they're stuck at the side of the circuit, the Ascari chicane, they're wishing they didn't. Anyhow. Right, this is a view from the championship-leading car, Tom Leben. When you're running behind a safety car, of course, no overtaking. So it means he's eating up another lap in second position. But the car in front, if it takes victory today, well, let's see how that will reduce the points lead, but it's still going to be absolutely gargantuan. However, right now, let's forget the points. Let's forget the championship position. So let's be prepared. The safety car will be in at the end of this lap. And then we can get the hammer down all over again. Robert Consani leading this race in the team speed car Audi. They took victory yesterday. His teammate Benjamin Lariche will be the next on board to take it through to the end of 1 hour of racing. We're nearly at 1/3 distance. For a lot of these drivers, it's frustrating. This is the corner just out of which we will see, or not see, hopefully the number 19 car that was parked and hopefully being removed from the track. Right, getting message now that a 10-second penalty will be added to the pit stop, extra 10 seconds to be served by the number 66 that had the clash, the Toyota Cindy Goudet's car, into the side of Hans Holmlund's sister Toyota. Right, okay, time to really get going. Safety car pulls clear, or more to the point, Robert Consani hangs back, and he's going to want to make sure that he's builds an advantage before they get down to the end of the start-finish straight, so he can get his braking done into the first chicane without too much of an attack from the car behind, the driver behind, championship leader Tom Leben. And Tom won't want to make any risk, but look at Tom Empson, his teammate, tucked in behind. Does he fancy trying to go into second place? No idea how that would go down if that led to those two cars going off. But Elite Motorsport, they've been going really, really well all season. And for Robert Consani, he's got a fantastic restart. His margin advantage before the full course yellow was about just under half a second. He's stretched it to nearly 3/4 of a second. Overtaking, look as though it's going to possibly be happening a little bit further back. And Matt Nicol-Jones in the Liquid Mollies Ford Mustangs lost a couple of positions, and some very hungry rivals coming through. One of them in about 15th place, dipping its left-hand wheels, its right-hand wheels into the gravel on the exit of the first chicane. Gabriele Piana, the white BMW, looking as though it's going to sweep around Pedro Ibrahim. Certainly got position. Sister cars, by the way, for Borusan Automotive Motorsport, the Turkish team that's been such a staunch supporter of GT4. And they're teammates, but let me help you off the circuit. Gabriele Piana tucked in behind, and in behind another couple of cars getting a little bit wide as they get the power down out of that second chicane, and even further back more dust kicked up. Several runners getting very wide indeed. But the real news on the restart was Robert Consani controlled it supremely well, and by putting himself into position, it really, really worked for him. He stretched his advantage at the front of the race, took it out to 0.7 of a second, right, 2-3 abreast. All now the AM class leader, Laurent Ergon, got a lot of company around him. He too has picked off Matt Nicol-Jones, so the restart hasn't worked for the Ford driver. For the BMWs from Borusan Automotive, it's certainly lively. The white one with Gabriele Piana really kicking up the dirt on the exit of that third chicane. Yeah, Lauren Hergott really in the battle. He's got to be quite careful. Only needs a couple of points to pick up the AM Class Championship for the entire season, with the final race still to run. So in some ways, he just, if there's a bit of action around him, he needs to steer out of it. But sometimes the best form of defence is attack. Maybe it's easier for Ergon to keep his head tucked down. Also a bit of bodywork damage for the car running in about 10th place. Might be slightly low. Well, and certainly some bodywork damage, and Matt Nicol-Jones being rotated around. That's, dearie me, sitting sideways in the track. Tell you what, no, that's Marco Signoretti, who was a bit further up. He was running in 5th position at the start of the lap, leading Ford Mustang, spun around, and 10, 15, 20, 30 cars may be coming past him. So that is their points out of the window. This is the front of the race, and it's settled down quite nicely between the first four, as they were. Cameron Lawrence playing catch-up, and of course he was started the lap in 6th place. The car in front of him, Marco Signoretti, went for that spin down at the first chicane. So Lawrence, the American racer who started 4th, had a bad first lap or so, fell to 8th, gaining places. I'd like to take a look at the replay of that moment. Oh dear, one of the Mahiki Racing Lotuses off at the side of the circuit, and that they've been showing increasing form through the season, but is that going to cause any full course yellow periods? Have a look. It's a question if they can drive that away and park it out of danger. Again, the speed of the cars under the bridge as they dive up the slope, but get the braking done for the third chicane, or the way in at least. Then you go left, you go right, and left again. Don't cut the inside of the corner too much. We've seen cars hooking wheels in there, and their suspension travel at the max as they bounce out of position. AM class leader just going through the shot in the black Alpine. But Robert Consani hangs on, and in behind, other people taking the wider line, I think we can safely say, the undesirable line through the gravel. Car number 31 was the Porsche that went to bouncing. That's a WNS Motorsport car. That's Alain Gabet and Fabio Rauer who would have started the race today. But look, we heard before the race that straight line speed was really something that was very strong for the race leading Audi this weekend. It also looks pretty good for the Aston Martin in 4th place, because Jamie Day in the background is putting Tom Empson under pressure, and in between them is the championship leader, Tom Leben, just keeping in front of Tom Empson. But Jamie Day certainly looking very busy in his Aston Martin, car number 82, entered by the Racing Spirit of Le Mans crew. And just looking to see Marco Signoretti was on the top screen last time round in 5th place. Now he's 36th. One spin at the first chicane. He lost 31 positions. And the little battle between the Borusan Automotive BMW's car 11, Gabriele Piana, was forced to give position back to Pedro Ibrahim. Gained it by shortcutting a chicane. And suddenly the Wimmerwork Porsches are gaining, and they've caught and they've just passed Cameron Lawrence. So the American racer went from 4th on the grid back down to 8th, and now he's just lost a couple of positions. He started the lap in 5th, but Nikolai Moller-Manson and his teammate Raphael Renhofer have just monstered him. As I say, in this you lose a tiny bit of momentum and the whole thing can really start to unravel. And then in behind, the Mustangs are pushing the super experienced Nico Verdonk. Matt Nicol-Jones is catching up all over again. Those two Mustangs absolutely nose to tail. And then comes Gabriele Piana. Has he given that position back? Wait and see. Well, it was issued not long ago. He's still in front of the car he'd passed. Oh, and the car behind, Pedro Ibrahim, the one he has to hand it back to, very nearly getting clunked by another BMW with Benjamin Ascen making his progress. And that's a car that was well placed yesterday, Benjamin Ascen, and he's got the superstar Ricardo van der Ende to take over from him in the second half of the race. Cars, pit window is open. First car, I think, to dive into the pit lane. Just having a quick look, it was Gabriele Piana who was the first one in. Jamie Day, the Aston Martin, from 4th place has dived in. Was that wise? Well, he caught the tail end of Tom Ebsen and Tom Leben and wasn't likely to pass them without making really quite a risky manoeuvre. So I think he decided, let's get in, see if we can have a clean pit stop and just eke a second or two that will put us out into effective second place. But that is second guessing a lot of elements within that. So Matteo Villagomez, who really had a cracking race yesterday, is going to be the next one in to that number 82 Racing Spirit of Le Mans Aston Martin. There's one of the sister cars fighting its way through the order, with David Coleman having plenty of company there. With the Swiss team running increasingly fast, Aston Martin. Oh, little bit of a mistake there, running wide. Oh, dipping the wheel into the dirt there at the first of the first. That was David Coleman. He'll have had his heart in his mouth. Get things wrong at either of the Lesmos and you can really come unstuck. But somehow he got the car back onto the track and kept it in a relatively straight line. Cameron Lawrence in that black, white and red RAFA Racing Team McLaren coming under increasing pressure. Gabriele Piana, and just in front of him, Matt Nicol-Jones really harrying the McLaren driver. Must say, the Wimmerwork Porsches have had real progress. There they are in orange and white with Nikolai Moller-Manson and Raphael Renhofer still in front of Cameron Lawrence, and Lawrence in 6th place under a lot of pressure from Matt Nicol-Jones and from Matteo Villagomez. But those that have come in as soon as the pit window opened, coming out onto the track, but only when the pit window closes will we really know whether the car that's leading the race, here it is now, yellow, red and blue Team Speed Car Audi, is going to be ahead when it comes out after its pit stop. But it's got Tom Leben, the championship leader, right in behind. First and second in the championship, second and first on the track, and the second of the Elite Motorsport McLarens tucking in behind. It's been a massive upswing for the number 77 crew of Irish racer Alex Denning and British racer Tom Empson. Tom on board at the moment. 4th place yesterday. Can they improve on that and get a first overall podium? Of course, they will be coming on cars that have already served their pit stop. They'll be a lap down, but they may just interrupt the flow. And it's up to the teams to work out, are these cars going to delay any of our drivers? A bit of a wide exit there from Tom Leben. First part of the Lesmo, second part. It's not as fast as it used to be. That is much tighter than Lesmo 2 was in former years. More grip from the track this year. The resurfacing really has brought extra speed out of these cars, and engineering headaches for the engineers. They try and work out exactly how to set them up for the new look. Well, not new look, new feel, new grippy Monza racing circuit. Overhead shot through the third chicane is by far the widest of the chicanes and least acute angles. The first one is the tightest of the lot. And again, watching the cars, they're coming up across back markers. Pit window still open. How long do they wait? How long do they wait? This lap's been a much better one for race leader Robert Consani. He started at 0.488 of a second clear. Is he going to sweep in? He's got the tight inside line. Benjamin Lariche is waiting. Looks like he's actually stretching the advantage. But as they dive in, the top three all coming together. Very, very sensible. Tom Levin in second place. Teammate Tom Empson in third. But Robert Consani leads in. Can he hand this car over to Benjamin Lariche, and Lariche come out and go on to make it 2 from 2 here at Monza for Team Speed Car? Let us see what traffic will be around them when they come out. If everybody has served their pit stops, and there's still, I'd say, 10 cars that have not yet arrived, then there could be traffic in front of them they do not want to have there. It's how they handle it. Overtaking pretty much always into the first turn, first hairpin, second hairpin, but not so much into that third hairpin. But how a driver's going to handle this. Still little bits of debris on the run from Lesmo down towards the Ascari chicanes, but he's had a little bit. Now this should be the driver who's leading that has not that has served a pit stop and has worked his way back out, and it's Mateo Villagomez, and that was a car that was going really, really well in the first half of the race in the hands of Jamie Day. It came onto the tail of those two Elite Motorsport McLarens, but could not do anything about them, so possibly came in a lap earlier than planned. Maybe it will have worked, because certainly Mateo Villagomez is going to be pressing on very hard indeed. The driver from Ecuador. Great, so door open. That has not closed during his pit stop. Can he get that hole closed? When you're strapped in tightly, that could be a problem. Right, now it looks like we've got the positions have changed in the pit stops. Is that the number 78 that's coming ahead of Benjamin Lariche? If so, that will be fantastic news for the crew. Just got to see the number on the door is at 78. Most notably it is. So the championship leaders, that could have been an absolutely vital move for them if they want to nail this championship down with still the races to run in Saudi Arabia. So car 78, it was a slow stop for the sister car, mind. They've fallen away, but Josh Ratican has come out ahead of Benjamin Lariche. Ooh, the tables have turned. Yeah, very slow shot, because we expected number 77 McLaren to be close at hand as they all came out. Now a rotation for one of the Wimmer-Walker. No. Oh my word, that is the Alpine that was leading the AM class, literally had the title in the bag. They could have wrapped it up to here today by finishing, but finishing is not something that Pascal Hutto will have the chance to do. Haven't seen what led to the circumstances down there, but certainly a Wimmer-Work Motorsport Porsche was involved. Right, into the lead by dint of a swifter pit stop goes car number 78, the championship leading car, Josh Ratican. He looked cool, calm and collected on the grid, but the heat will be under his collar, but he's done the job to get in front. Look how he's skirting with disaster, potentially dipping his wheels over the exit of the third chicane. And Mateo Villagomez was the first car of the front runners to pits. He's tucked into third position behind them, and the Ecuadorian racer looking very feisty indeed. Then Gabriele Piana's car has gained about 5 or 6 positions. That's now in the hands of Michael Schrey, but the second of the McLarens from Elite Motorsport has fallen to, I think, 6th place, and that was handed over to Alex Denning. He did an excellent job in the first part of yesterday's race, and maybe he can build on the great start. Just down to a slow pit stop. Let's see what happened for Pascal Hutto. Well, he wanted to turn in. The Wimmer-Work Motorsport Porsche was up the inside, and the AM class leader is suddenly shuffled down the order and out of the race. And that was viewed from his onboard camera. 3 into 1 didn't work. 3 of them going up the escape road, but you'd have to say that poor Pascal Hutto just into his stint. Well, the contacts damaged his Alpine. It's out of the race. Matt Nicol-Jones has yet to pit, Benjamin Ascens has yet to pit, and Cameron Lawrence yet to pit. They were fighting over about sort of bottom half of the top 10. But now, from the front runners who have pitted, here they come. McLaren from Audi, from Aston Martin, but settling down very nicely. Josh Ratican looks like he's got the legs on Benjamin Lariche, maybe by a tiny margin, but they've got plenty of time left to race, 25, 26 minutes. And Mateo Villagomez, so it's making it McLaren from Audi, from Aston Martin. Matt Nicol-Jones comes in. He pitted as late as he can in his number 62 Ford Mustang. Benjamin Nassen in the L'Espace Bienvenue BMW. And Gemma Hepworth has just taken over from Cameron Lawrence. So maybe they can get a top 10 finish for the RAFA racing team to make up for Rafa Martinez's car not even getting to start the race after damage from yesterday. Benjamin Lariche, I thought he might be falling back a little bit. I'm beginning to think quite the reverse. Matteo Villagomez in the Aston Martin looks so he's catching the top two, but Benjamin Lacen is settling down in this stint. He found half a second on the race leader last time around. So the margin from first to second from Josh Rattigan in the number 78 McLaren and the number 3, the chasing Team Speed Car Audi, still seems to be about that. Now Gemma Hepworth, the car still, McLaren still up on stilts. That's dropped down. That was the car started by Cameron Lawrence, and the Mustang that came in just in front. Matt Nicol-Jones would have handed that number 62 entry over, and that should come out ahead of it. And this time it will have at the wheel William Moore, blasting out of the pit lane. Lights are flashing. But first and second, the gap is next to not very much at all. Into the lead of the race will go 78, and tucked in behind Josh Rattigan, just 0.6 of a second down, nearly 7 tenths, is Benjamin Lariche. And this is the moment as all the cars reunite, having made their pit stop. They work out who's gained and who's lost. And Tom Empson's car now in the hands of Alex Denning. Car number 77 had loads of pace yesterday, but today somewhat further down the order. Third up to the point of pit stops. Still, can Elite Motorsport grab victory today? Pushing and shoving, but certainly Josh Rattigan has got plenty of company from Benjamin Lariche. Lariche's car looks just marginally faster, but he's going to have to find a way past. So for young Josh Rattigan, it's defend, 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 but sometimes you defend and you slow yourself right down. He's just got to keep his eyes open, eyes around him. And maybe, just maybe, in third place, Matteo Villagomez. He's falling away a little bit. His lap, lost a little bit on the two cars around him, but traffic may bring him back to make it a top 3 battle. But right now, it's McLaren from Audi. It's Josh Rattigan being pushed and shoved, not literally, but in terms of the pressure by Benjamin Lariche. McLaren looks so dynamic through the chicanes, but it does seem the Audi is pretty handy in a straight line. Look at the shape of the slightly sleeker looking McLaren. You'd think that would be the quicker of those manufacturers. The first 3, anybody else in the race, not even in the shot, as they head down towards Parabolica. They're halfway there, and only then does the car come through in 4th place in the background of the shot. So it's Rattigan, Lariche, and Berkay Bessler might be the next car into shot, showing great progress in the BMW for him, for Borusan Ottoman Automotive. But I tell you what, last time around it was not much between first and second, between Rattigan and Lariche. This time it's way, way less. It's under a quarter of a second. And the Audi driver dives out to the outside. Is he going to be able to outbrake the McLaren? They're both absolutely on the limit of adhesion. And by defending, no, it's okay, it's okay. I thought Rattigan, by defending, would have had the worst exit. But in fact, it was such late braking that we saw from the car in second place from Benjamin Lariche. He couldn't get the Audi's traction down, and just at the tail end of the top 10, wherever you look, if there's a Wimmerworth Porsche pushing, it's right in the heart of the action. And with that slow pit stop, the second Elite Motorsport McLaren has moved down the order, the opposite direction to the way they wanted. Alex Denning starting this lap in 7th place. Top 3 cars covered by under 3 seconds, but the gap between first and second, between these two, with the McLaren of Josh Rattigan and Benjamin Lariche in the multicoloured Team Speed Car Audi, it's down to a quarter of a second on the start-finish line. Looks pretty similar at this point around the circuit. And really, I think these cars, as they exit the second of the Lesmos, possible advantage through those corners actually going to the McLaren driver, but we're talking nanoseconds. First, second and third, clear track behind them. I tell you what, 10-second margin back to Will Moore in the number 62 Ford Mustang in 4th place, and he's got plenty of company. He's got Berkay Bessler behind him, or even possibly at this stage ahead of him. Right, unfortunately, a shredded left rear tyre coming off one of the Aston Martins. Oh dear, Stanislav Safronov, class winner yesterday in Pro-Am today, but when you're in GT4 in the European Series, you can't lose time with a puncture and still expect to get points. Who knows? I mean, maybe a bit of debris caused that puncture, maybe running over the curbing, but what was a great finish for them yesterday hasn't been the dream ticket today. And now the outside line is all that's being offered. The Audi trying to not get a toe, just trying to get alongside, his nose in front. Is that going to be a braking manoeuvre he can pull off and get into the first chicane? He's made the move, but he's braked too late, and the McLaren, if it can get better acceleration, which it ought, lost position. But can he get close enough in the tail for Josh Rattigan to get enough of a toe? But I thought he'd get the power down earlier. Unfortunately, the Audi was sitting across his nose. And there is Robert Consani. He knows where to look, not sure he wants to. but Benjamin Lariche just managed to block the McLaren from accelerating sooner than it was able to do up to the second chicane. And what was second has become first, and then the hordes are coming in behind. NM Racing Team Mercedes up to 9th position, about to move up to 8th position. That's Luc Ibanez challenging Etienne Chelly. The Toyota driver surely is going to have to back off into the second chicane. So as yesterday, NM Racing Team, it was a car started today by Alexander Papadopoulos, going well through the course of the race. And maybe ifs and buts, it could have been nearer the front, but certainly showing very, very good pace there. So let's just run you down the order. Benjamin Lariche now the new leader from Josh Rattigan by next to nothing. Third place, Matteo Villagomez. Then 11 seconds back to Berkay Bessler in fourth place in his BMW. Alex Denning in the second of the two elite McLarens, now in fifth place. It's sort of settling down a bit there. Will Moore in sixth, but they're very, very close. Ricardo van der Ende tucked in behind as well in seventh, and he's possibly the driver making the moves. In the Pro-Am class, so W&S Motorsport, they work their way up the order. Car number 30 doing a very, very tidy job. So much of this, it's about pace. It's also about keeping yourself out of trouble. And Finn Zulauf building on the work of Max Kronberg and sitting very well placed in that category. He came here just 1 point behind Stanislav Safronov and his fellow Aston Martin racer Alexander Weintraub, but we just saw the Mirage Racing car entering the pits with that tyre that had no rubber left on it. So this is very much going to be advantage to the W&S Motorsport crew. The second of the two elite Motorsport McLarens there, and Alex Denning coming. There are a lot of pressure. Ricardo van der Ende, as predicted, putting the pressure on, and the NM Racing Team Mercedes with Luc Ibanez getting onto that tail as well. This is a chance for any driver ahead to just maybe find an advantage, but at the moment the defence is Ricardo van der Ende, but that's not a word he really knows very much. He's turning that into attack. No, he's blocking off the nose of the NM Racing Team Mercedes. Gets that done for now. Tucked in behind Etienne Chelly. These are all drivers who've had race wins this year. Here at Monza, though, it really does look as though it's going to come down to something between Benjamin Lariche, who's just moved into the lead in the Team Speed Car Audi, and Josh Rattigan, the Elite Motorsport McLaren. When I say there are two of those. So here we are, running down to about 15th position, almost nose to tail, but the first three cars have made their break. They've got clear. They're now 12 seconds clear of the groups behind, and they really are hunting in groups. Good exit from the second Lesmo, and you'll gain a bit of a margin running down to the Ascari chicane. Ricardo van der Ende dipping his right-hand tyres onto the grass and the dust on the exit of the Ascari chicane. You want the widest entry you can get, but equally you can lose traction. And again on the exit, we're seeing so many drivers kicking up the dust. We've seen a lot of drivers kicking up too much dust, running too far over the curbing there and looping around. But we're looking at the front-end drivers in this field. Oh, Etienne Chelly is now starting to put pressure on Luc Ibanez. So suddenly Ibanez has fallen off the tail of Ricardo van der Ende. Maybe he was the one who kicked up the dust. And now the 300, well, unfortunately that rear wheel is not mounted correctly for Adrian Pavio. He was up on the podium yesterday, but I think it's over and out for Team Speed Car with that car. But the sister car number 3, leading the race outright. Here he is, and stretching clear. Benjamin Lariche, 0.8 of a second clear at the start of this lap. Lap or two ago, it was just 0.1 of a second. Maybe it's a chance for Matteo Villagomez to see if he can catch Josh Rattigan, but Rattigan doesn't need to do too much at this point. He's sitting on a very tidy points lead. Of course, they wanted their championship rivals to be behind them. They wanted to take victory here, but they came with a big points margin. They know Le Bon and Rattigan knew they'd be champions if they won the race here today, with Consani and Lariche 5th or lower. Well, they're not going to be champions today because Consani and Lariche are in front of them. Take it to the final 2 rounds, the final 2 races at Jeddah, but they will be sitting on by taking second place today, if indeed is where they stay in the remaining quarter round of the race. Then, of course, that will put them in very much the driving seat when they go to the final round. That is a real example. The car coming into shot now, Berkay is in 5th place overall. Berkay Bessler sharing with Gabriele Piana. I think mistakenly I said Michael Schrei earlier because Gabriel Schrei shares with him in the German series. Another car running wide. It's Ricardo van der Ende. He's trying to make the track as wide as possible. He's got Alex Denning in front of him in the McLaren. In front of him in 4th place is Berkay Bessler. And then tucked in behind the NM Racing Team Mercedes. It's caught back up again. It made a bit of a mistake half a lap ago. But the grey and red Mercedes closing up all over again. Looking at the battle, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and a tiny bit of a gap back to Eric Chelly, who a short while ago had caught up, and his Toyota just falling back a little bit. The front of the race, though, 3/4 of a second between our race-leading Audi of Benjamin Lariche and Josh Rattican, who's there but safe. He's got 1.3 seconds advantage over 3rd place, and if he can stay there, that will be, you know, a really, really big step towards taking the 2024 title. Now, a short while ago, we saw Pascal Hutto possibly on his first flying lap being taken out after the pit stop, but he was leading the AM class comfortably with Laurent Ergon. But even without that Schumacher CLRT car finishing the race, the Alpine, the GPA Aston Martin of Grisot and Jimenez has to win the race to keep the AM title alive. And at the moment, the AM title is AM class in the race is being led by car number 33. Which has got Jean-Mathieu Leandri at the wheel. It's a Giselle Technology Course Alpine that he's driving solo, and he could be the friend of the Schumacher CLRT team if he continues in that vein. Second in class is where the championship challenging cars with Kevin Jimenez is placed, but that is not what he needs. And what's left on the clock? 13 minutes. So right now, as long as Jean-Mathieu Leandri continues where he is, the title in the AM class will be wrapped up with 2 races or 1 round. Those 2 races in Saudi Arabia still to go. And Finn Sulauf in the WNS Motorsport Porsche doing a neat and tidy job, as you'd expect. Max Kronberg started the race. It's the yellow, white and black Porsche Cayman, running in the various groups. But first to second, 0.6 of a second. Benjamin Lariche hanging on. Josh Rattican just doesn't have the answers right now. Last time around, in fact, was the best lap of the race, and it was served by Josh Rattican in second place. So maybe he's got the chance to close in. Car 72 just had sight of the Aston Martin of Kevin Jimenez. That's the one that has to take class victory to stop Pascal Hutto and Laurent Ergon, who've retired from this race, landing the AM title for 2024. He's in second position in class. First to second, Benjamin Lariche, Josh Rattican, Audi to McLaren. 0.6 of a second between them last time round. It looks as though the McLaren sort of revived itself. A couple of laps, we saw Benjamin Lariche having got to the front, pulling clear a little bit. Now it's settling down all over again. We are talking fractions of a second, the difference between these cars around the course of a lap. Second of the Elite Motorsport McLaren's Alex Denning at the wheel is right on the tail of Berkay Bessler's number 12 Borissan Motorsport Porsche. And up ahead they've got one of the Lotuses, one of the tail enders in the field, motoring around, not at their pace, so hopefully the Mahiki Racing car with Max Bird on board can keep out of their way. And as we saw yesterday with with the other drivers from Mahiki Racing, so gentlemanly, a gaggle of cars got out of the way. They literally had to stamp on the brakes and let 6, 8, 10 of them pass them into the Ascari chicane to put a lap on them, but did the right thing, didn't interrupt their flow, didn't spoil their battle. The big question in these groupings is who's got the most braking life left. Oh, dearie me. Hold on a second. Is this a critical car that's just gone for a spin into the dust at the Ascari chicane? And the air clears. And it's Alon Gabay, the Israeli racer, who's rotated the number 31 Porsche into the gravel. And unfortunately for him, that is going to be over and out in this race. But it's always a question of what that does to the other drivers around you. And does it lead to any moments where flags come out and it interrupts other people's flow? Full course yellow coming up very soon indeed. No surprise there, I'm afraid. Alain Gabet looping that around. Did he jump? Was he pushed? Anyhow, falling out of about 30th position. Everybody else doing a very good job of heeding the message. Etienne Shelley looked like he's quite late to receive the message in his Toyota there, but got it hauled down to the maximum speed at which they're allowed to run. Do not calm down. Do not cool down. 10 minutes to go. These are the first two cars. The team speed car, Audi at the head of the pack, just ahead of Josh Rattican, the championship leading McLaren, number 78 in its position. Now, what happened to Alain Gabet? Well, he simply got very, very close to the BMW in front of him and looped it around. Possibly just got sucked into braking slightly too late, missed his turning point, and round it went. So hopefully the rescue vehicle can pull that out. Right, what you're looking at here is the top three runners in this race. Yesterday's winning car leading the race, now with Benjamin Lariche at the wheel. His teammate Robert Consani having a bit of a laugh on the pit wall. Nothing he can do about it, but could it be 2 wins from 2? Certainly their speed car Audi has looked fantastic, but while they're running at full course yellow, there can be no place changing, most notably, so it eats up a lap or two. Very quick work from the rescue crews there. It's not the first car that's ever gone off into the gravel at the Ascari chicane, but they're pulling that out nicely. It's not getting bogged down. Right, the gap between first and second, between Benjamin Lariche and Josh Rattican's McLaren, 0.792 of a second. Then, of course, we had the full course yellow period. What continues moving? The clock. 8 minutes and 50 seconds remain in this 1 hour race. They'll be waiting for the signal for when the full course yellow will come to an end. But we're getting closer and closer to the end of the race, and not only has it been pulled clear from the gravel, that's good news. Alain Gabet can get on his way. So you always think it's over and out, especially that close to the end of the race. But his W&S Motorsport car, which he shares with Fabio Rao, will get to continue in this race. A few others have not had that opportunity. Here of our first two, and the message is gone clear. Now we're moving to safety car. The SC board is held out, which means if it continues like this to the end of the race and with the clock counting down, there's a possibility. I think we will just get them racing all over again, but the team speed car, Audi, sort of has rocketed clear, but with the safety car there, he knows he's going to back up, slot in behind, and then Josh Rattican can catch up onto his tail all over again. So all the teams need to keep right on top of the way the race officials like to run the races. The full course yellow period invariably is followed, not invariably, but not always, by a safety car period, and that does mean the field will be closed up. It's not going to gain any particular advantage for Josh Rattican, because before the safety car and the full course yellow, then the safety car, he was very close to the tail of the race-leading Audi of Benjamin Lariche. But again, oh dear, we got damage to one of the Mercedes there, limping around, just trying to see if that's the Niskanen car 119. Yes, indeed it is. That's Lima Racing, new team. This is from Slovakia, and that's not how you mount your front left tyre. So clearly it's blown, and that Racing Pirelli about to come off the rim. That, I think, probably happened as they were coming through the parabolic onto the start-finish straight. Too late to turn into the pits, so that's going to be a slow lap for him. Slowish lap for everyone behind the safety car. But as the field bunches up, just remember those first three cars: Benjamin Lariche's Audi, Josh Rattican's McLaren, and Matteo Villagomez in his Aston Martin. That's car number 82 from Racing Spirit of Le Mans. They had about a dozen-second advantage over the group behind, and Niskanen is just going to park up. That's a sensible decision. I mean, he wasn't going to pick up many points today, because you limp around most of a lap at Monza. It's really difficult. Right, in the Pro-Am class, Gustavo Xavier, why are we seeing him? Because he hasn't made it all the way around the lap. That's on the outside of the Parabolica, the final corner. That's an unusual place to go off. So has he had a mechanical failure that's pitched his car into the gravel? Bear in mind, this is behind the safety car, and that will not go on his show reel, because spinning on your own at any time is not something you can be proud of. But under the safety car, I would suggest that was possible. Just loss of concentration there. Wouldn't be driver tiredness, he'd only be doing half the race, but now that actually could be delaying the removal of the safety car. Waved yellow flags, double wave for yellows at the final corner of the lap. So does that mean victory will go to Benjamin Lariche? Will this race end under safety car? We've only got 5.5 minutes remaining. There is the safety car leading the pack around, and they might have been thinking, we've got the W&S Motorsport Porsche back out of the gravel trap, and you can go racing all over again. However, just at the point they were probably about to have that signal passed down to them, we've got another car in the gravel. So I'm starting to sense I think this race could end under the safety car, which denies the opportunity for some of the chasing pack to make their moves. The top 3 cars, however, have got several back markers between them. Remember, we saw one of the Aston Martins from Mirage Racing coming in. That was the car that went so well in Prime yesterday. Alexander Weintraub and Stanislav Safronov. That came in with a tyre off the rim, so that is down a lap. But hopefully that will get out of the way. In some ways, it's only fair because the first 3 cars were so well clear. Berkay Bessler leading the best of the rest in 4th place, but the safety car will bring them up onto their tail, and there, unfortunately, is a driver who just pitched it off out into the gravel at the Parabolica, and he ain't happy, not surprising. So for the drivers keeping their concentration, the race is nearly at the end. The first 3 cars, though, then the 1-2 back markers, then the car that's coming around in 6th is actually 4th on the overall honours. That's Berkay Bessler's BMW. So if he wants half a chance of catching, if the race goes green before we get to an hour, he's got to pick off the Lotus from Mahiki Racing, which is a lap down and right in front of him, and not make any mistakes, because Alex Denning is tucked in behind him, 5th place, and right behind him Ricardo van der Ende, and he's the wise head among all of those. He's been there, seen it, done it. And for people up and down the pit lane, they're trying to find things to do to take their attention away from the tension that is out there on the circuit. There's Ricardo van der Ende, the white BMW with the traditional blue and red racing colours of BMWs on its flanks. Look for him, the Dutch racer. So super positive if there's even half a chance to be considered. And the 119 Mercedes from the new team in the championship this year, for this meeting, Lima Racing from Slovakia. Elias Niskanen's Mercedes being lifted clear. That was the one that had the front left tyre carcass coming off. Safety car at the end of this lap. The lights are out. We were hoping we'd be able to complete this 1 hour race at full racing speed. Remember the names at the front. Benjamin Narish in the team speed car Audi. That has led all race. The car in 2nd place started 2nd on the grid. Josh Rattigan, championship leading car. He won't want to take any risk. We'll be praying that those behind him don't want to take a risk and try and dive up the inside of him. Oh, and the Chazelle Technology Corsa Alpine. Is that going to cause any problems? Please find somewhere to park it. Oh, well done. Very well done indeed from Jean-Mathieu Leandri. Hold on a second. Wasn't he leading the AM class? I think we'll come to that in a moment, because that could suddenly promote... No, I think the car from Kevin Kivenes is down in 3rd place in class. That needs to take victory. Right, we've got... very, very busy middle order here, trying to find position. Looks so Alex Denning and Berkay Bessler are racing for position. They're racing for 4th position down into the first turn and tucked in behind. Oh, wow, a few cars have lost position, but we've got all sorts happening down there. The background of the shot, just looking to see where Ricardo van der Ende is in this mix. The first 3 cars are going through, a lap car in behind. Here comes Berkay Bessler, Alex Denning, and now he's being challenged. It was always going to happen. Luc Ibanez were making a move, but where is Ricardo van der Ende? Oh, he's lost a couple of positions, fallen behind Etienne Chelly, but that is Berkay Bessler having to work very, very hard. Can 3, even 2 into 1 work into the chicane, but, well, great moves made by Luc Ibanez until that particular move where he ran wide on the exit. So as you gain positions, you can throw them away. And the person who gained there was Alex Denning to an extent, because those around him were just losing momentum, vital momentum. We've got 1.5 minutes remaining in the race. Up front, it should still be Benjamin Lariche controlling proceedings. This race does not want to have any more laps without incident. Every lap has incident. First 3 cars with a car that's already got a lap on it due to a pit stop are running nose to tail. Hold on, looking for any further signals. They are dropping their pace. Ah, dearie me. So with a car off on the start-finish straight, it looks though we are going to finish this with cars having to run at control pace. So there we have the flashing yellow lights, the warning lights. The first 3 cars well clear of the rest. Benjamin Nariche, Josh Rattigan and Matteo Villagomez. Well, they've all driven beautifully, respectively, in their Audi, McLaren and Aston Martin. This is their view as they go at that reduced pace. No overtaking, of course, at this point in the race. What a shame we couldn't have a final flurry, but I think, you know, sometimes you get Drivers, they've lost a lot of heat in their tyres. They're trying to push very hard as soon as the safety car withdraws, and clearly someone got it slightly wrong coming out of the Parabolica. This is the entry to the Parabolica. And the cars coming through. I think the checkered flag will probably be there to greet them at this abated pace. I'm sure it will. So it looks like victory is going to go to Robert Consani, and all but the championship title to the number 78 crew, the Elite Motorsport crew, coming around looking for that checkered flag. There it is. So 2 wins in 2 days at Monza. That one at the slowest finishing speed you can possibly imagine. Second place to championship leaders Tom Le Bon and Josh Rattican. Consani, yeah, I love Monza. I absolutely love Monza. Third place for Matteo Villagomez, the racing spirit of Le Mans Aston Martin. So plenty of people happy, but none happier than Team Speedcar. 2 wins in 2 days. You can see the debris scattered across the circuit on the start-finish straight. Up into 4th place, Berkay Besler in his BMW. 5th place, the second of the Elite Motorsport McLarens, I beg your pardon. Then Ricardo van der Ende in 6th place. Luc Ibanez in 7th. In his Mercedes. Etienne Celli, there was a place change between those two on the final lap, with Celli dropping to 8th in his Toyota. Emil Heyerdahl, the women work Porsche, in 9th, and Machado in the second of the racing spirit of Le Mans Aston Martins in 10th place. Top finisher in the Pro-Am class, Finn Zulau for WNS Motorsport, and that was a job very well done indeed. What a race! So much happening. Sorry, Finn Zulaf, of course, is in the Pro-Am class, the top finisher in the Am class, somewhat further down the order. We had Jean-Mathieu Leandri pulling off on that final lap. Couldn't tell you what the problem was, but he'd been running so well. But for Team Speedcar, leading the race from start to finish, that was a fantastic job by them. Well deserved. They had the pace. Getting 2 pole positions certainly gives you more than a fighting chance here at Monza. So applause all round. And a bit of place changing on that final lap. And I think the car that went missing from that equation was the... Just double checking which that was. Sorry, I thought it was number 7. But no doubting who won the race. Robert Consani started it. Benjamin Lariche finished it. Josh Rattican, though, and Tom Le Bon, they came here to Monza thinking maybe they could land the championship, but it would take everything falling into their lap. But the Pro-Am victor, car number 30, Finn Zulauf, it's from the WNS Motorsport team. And a nice, tidy job for Finn Zulauf and the driver who started. That's Max Kronberg. They finished just outside the top 10 in 13th position. So hard to take a victory in any of these classes. With a field of 50 cars, we had 47 today after a bit of damage to some of the others yesterday. More than enough cars to put on the racing tarmac. And it requires not just speed, but precision as well. And I think an element of... looking to see what happened across all the classes. Still listing Jean-Mathieu Leandri as the winner of the Am class, but we did see him pull off the circuit, but maybe that was timely for him. Cars running at abated paces. Of course, they slow down on their slowing down lap, the in lap, because that's what you do, but with incidents out around the circuit, they're backing it off even more. So their teammates having to wait even longer to greet them. But at this point, of course, the drivers try not to, they don't mind pick up a little bit of rubber, a little bit of build-up on the tyres, but what they don't want at all is to pick up a puncture on the way back in. So absolutely action aplenty for all the parties involved. And that became a very, very bit of racing tarmac. But well done to Team Speedcar with their Audi. They worked hard, super hard. And anyone who finished in the top 10 has done a fantastic job. And what a mix of cars. An Audi from a McLaren, from an Aston Martin, from a BMW. That is why GT4 works so well. In fact, you can see all those manufacturers in the mix. One of the cars a lap down, just coming across behind them, that was Stanislav Safronov, who'd been running in the Pro-Am class and just got caught out with a puncture. And that certainly cost them a fair bit today. But for Team Speed Car with the Audi, the job has been done. They came here second in the championship points, very much as championship outsiders because Tom Leben and Josh Ratican so far clear for the Elite Motorsport crew. But that second place for Leben and Ratican, who brought it home, could be worth its weight in gold. Applause ringing out up and down the pit lane, being picked up by the TV cameras, but that was a race. You can see some of the bits of tyre debris sitting in the circuit. We had punctures, we had a couple of collisions, and then we had drivers just going off the track on their own. You feel for those who ended up on the wrong side of the equation, but you can only feel joy for Robert Consani, who'll be down waiting for his teammate Benjamin Lariche to come in to report into position. 2 wins in 2 days. No wonder they've absolutely loved their visit to Monza. Number 1 for number 3. Bang on the roof. Anyone in there? No, he's popping out like a jack in a box, and that's Benjamin Lariche. He still looks slightly nervous on the grid, but you know, there was a confidence to Team Speed Car. They've really got a car that's worked supremely well here at Monza, and he made that work very, very nicely indeed here today. And for one of the fallers, they've ended up as champions in their class. That's the Schumacher CLRT entry car 55 of Laurent Ergon and Pascal Uto, taken out of the race just after the driver change, but they, as long as they finished, the challenging number 72 crew did not finish ahead of them and take victory in the class, then they would, take victory in class, they would be champions. So, happiness from Tom Leben, who started it, and Josh Ratican, who finished it second place. The Elite Motorsport crew love it. Pressure comes in different ways according to whether you're chasing, trying to overtake, trying to defend, where you are in a championship. And in a multi-class race, that is really very, very difficult indeed. But you can feel Josh Ratican just having that release of pressure there. So let's go down and hear our winning crew with Gemma Scott. Robert Consani started it, Benjamin Lariche finished it, and victory.
Le double victoire, c'est a super weekend. Your memories of Monza are back to being absolutely brilliant.
Thank you. Yes, for sure. It's incredible double pole position and double win. So it's a perfect weekend, and I think Benjamin make the purple lap for the race too. So we have the speed and the other driver and the other car also, because you have a big fight during all the race. So for me the BOP is perfect. The SRO make a perfect job, and I'm very happy to be there and win this race, because I'm half Italian, and for me it's very important to win in Monza.
It really is important to win, and it's a great memory for you to take away. Benjamin, the last part of that race was difficult, right?
Yes, difficult because we degrade the tires. So, but I think I did maybe one of my best stints since I drive in GT4. I was very consistent. I didn't do any mistakes. I was very close. He did also a great job. All the season he did a good job, but here he was very, very strong. And I'm happy because I'm not half Italian, but I love Italy. I'm French, I'm proud of France, but I love Italy also. So it's a perfect
He can adopt
weekend.
you.
Yes. And it's important for the championship to have a chance to be champion. We are far away, but we never know what can happen at Jeddah, because it's a new track, very tricky. So yes, we'll see. And thanks to the team who made a perfect job since we drive together in 2017, and we improve a lot with a different car, Ginetta, Alpine, now Audi, and yes, thanks for all the team.
Congratulations, félicitations encore, super.
Merci.
You can absolutely sense the satisfaction for Team Speed Car, for drivers who've been together for 7 years of racing since 2017. Actually, this is their 8th year together. Benjamin I beg your pardon, Benjamin Lariche and Robert Consani. They started from pole for both races and they took the checkered flag in front for both races here at Monza. They may be French, but they're feeling half Italian today. What a fantastic job. But let's go down and link up with Gemma, with Andy Cantu and Charles Dawson.
Charles, Andy, congratulations, class winners. How does that one feel?
It feels amazing. We didn't expect it. We were coming out from a little bit back, so it was crazy.
GT4 is such a close and competitive championship and to be part of, and seeing so many cars as that race starts, it really is impressive.
Yeah, it's it's a real step up from some of the regional GT4 stuff in terms of just the sheer amount of cars on the track. It's it really it brings on your driving skills, that's for sure.
Absolutely, and a great fun circuit to be racing on as well.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, Monza, Temple of Speed's the best. Yeah.
Congratulations. You guys can go celebrate.
Cheers, thank you very much. Cheers, guys.
Charles Dawson and Andy Cantu, NM Racing Team Mercedes. They walk past their car. Victory in the AM class, so satisfaction falls on their shoulders. But really the greatest satisfaction will be, I sense, in the number 78 McLaren camp, because they came here possibly able to wrap up the championship, but 2 solid results and they put it almost in the bag. However, Team Speed Car with their Audi have been finding a great deal of form. And for them, they've kept themselves in the championship mix. They're right here in 3rd place. Their pole positions put them equal 2nd before the cars went racing. But at the start of the race, it was Robert Consani getting away in the lead. The 2 Elite Motorsport McLarens getting very close to each other and run to the first corner. It looked for a second as though we would have a change of positions in behind Cameron Lawrence in the 3rd of the McLarens. That's from the RAFA Racing team getting it wrong. And those at the back all just develops new habits, going straight down the escape road. Up front though, Consani made good his escape. McLarens are very much in the mix, but Jamie Day was coming in his Aston Martin, and others just getting a little bit wrong down to the first chicane. Nothing wrong with trying though. Cameron Lawrence, car number 81, started making the moves, regained 3 of the 4 positions he's lost at the start. Nico Verdonk, the number 1 Ford Mustang, getting in and getting a little bit keen down there, and unfortunately for car number 61, the Mustang, it was a time to rotate, to cogitate and to consider. And a few drivers just looping it around. The 3rd chicane seemed to become a favourite place for people to lose traction, and still the battling went on. Massive save from one of the Wimmer Motorsport drivers, but up front there was the push, there was the shove, and then after the pit stops, the McLaren number 78 had come out in front, but was hunted down, caught, and here just passed by Benjamin Lariche. It looked as though the McLaren would accelerate back past it, and then there were moments for several drivers towards the end of the race. We had the safety car out. That was during the safety car period, and then we looked to take it to the finish, but with another safety car period being triggered, there were the winning cars at lowest speed possible. Benjamin Lariche from Josh Ratican. So much incident in that race, so much great racing, so much brilliant overtaking. But the GT4 European Series, powered by the RAFA Racing Club, is you need to watch it back 2 or even 3 times to take in all that happens in these races. And again, with the Silver class, the Pro-Am class and the AM, you've got the 3 class categories to look at. And for a lot of the drivers, they very nearly made it to the finish. And then incidents caught them out in the final handful of minutes. But for Team Speed Car, they only lost the lead during the pit stops, or on the exit to the pit stops. They popped out. But a little bit of a mention. 1 championship title was sorted out here today. It was for Schumacher CLRT, the Alpine team, with Pascal Houteau and Laurent Ergon. Their car is actually just being taken on a flatbed into the paddock, but they at least know they've wrapped up the AM title. They only needed to get 9th place. They didn't finish, but today that was enough for them. And still some smiles up and down the pit lane for the crews standing, waiting to greet their heroes when they go up onto the podium. Busy day here at the Temple of Speed. So much racing behind us, so much racing still to come. And for the marshals, particularly down at the first chicane, so much sweeping for them to do, because many drivers hooking wheels into the gravel. Not so much gravel at the first chicane, it's on the exit of the first chicane, but certainly need to clear that up. Our next race will be for the McLaren Trophy. They don't want to have a little treat greeting them when they go on their out lap. But let's have the crews coming out onto the podium. Racing Spirit of Le Mans coming out. three classes of racing, of course, the silver class, the Pro-Am class. And some very happy faces. Car number 30, top in Pro-Am. So victory in the Pro-Am class. So the W&S Motorsport Porsche of Finn Zulaf and Max Kronberg. Second place to car 75, which is another Porsche, Paul Petit and Noah Abramczyk for AV Racing. And third place, car 71, another Porsche of Wimblework Motorsport, Eric Scalvini and Max Wimmer. Rafa Martinez didn't get a race today, but championship sponsor here to hand out the trophies. He'd have loved to be out there, but his car hors de combat, as we'd say if we were French. And every single driver that managed to wrestle their way through the order, keep out of trouble, going to the top step of the podium. But Finn Zulaf and Max Kronberg, they are the occupants of that top step. Job very well done for them in the Pro-Am class. So drivers assembled, points in the bag, and they know the championship finale will be months away. It's the end of November, 2.5 months, 10 weeks if you like, for them to consider how they're going to tackle the circuit at Jeddah. But right now, it's really their main consideration is how to stop their eyes from stinging after a face full of champagne up on the podium. But joy for W&S Motorsport. They came here sitting in a very strong position in the Pro-Am class. They came here second, just 1 point down on the leading crew. The numbers have moved forward and back, but it's been fierce work for all involved. And starting to brighten up a little bit more. The photos should look good here at Monza. And again, still brushing of the chicanes. Cars actually largely driving off the track there. A lot of them run through that little escape road, the escape road just out of shot, and the little patch of tarmac on the inside of the circuit is quite well travelled for a lot of the drivers. But there's a special challenge of Monza, the wonderful sweep through Biasone, a corner we used to be called Curva Grande before the chicanes went in, and then the run down to this corner, the Parabolica, the exit of the third chicane in the background under the Pirelli bridge, but it really is a place where you've got to plan your overtaking and really bring those moves in from a long way out. More podium action for the GT4 European Series. Jamie Day coming out and Matteo Villagomez third in the silver class. Third overall. Those top three cars had got away. They were just behind the McLaren and the Audi. Second place, Tom Lebon and Josh Rattican. Plenty of cheers from their crews down there. They've almost got their hands on the title, but this is the crew that may just topple them, but they've got to have everything go their way. It certainly did at Monza. It's our winning crew, Robert Consani and Benjamin Lariche for Team Speedcar. The only trip of the weekend for Benjamin Lariche was just approaching the podium there, but he kept it together, and he's a happy man. So as the strains of the French national anthem, the Marseillaise, fade away, out come the trophies. And Matteo Villagomez and Jamie Day looking very happy with their afternoon's action. Second place trophies to the second place crew. Will they be champions in 2024? But certainly for Tom Lebon and Josh Rattican, they kept it clean, they kept it tidy, fleetingly in the lead of the race after the pit stops, but then Benjamin Lariche found a way by and managed to stay in front all the way to the finish. I really sense the 78 McLaren crew didn't want to take any risks and blow a potentially strong position. But this weekend at Monza in the GT4 European Series, it's been all about one team by the smallest of margins, but pole position for both races for Team Speedcar with their Audi have really reaped dividends. And Benjamin Lariche closer to us, and Robert Consani raced together since 2017. They've moved through championships, moved through formulae, and here they are on the top step at Monza. Cars still being pushed back into the paddock beyond. It's been such a busy event. They came here with 51 cars. We started yesterday with 50, today with 47. There was action at every single corner, pretty much every single lap. Almost impossible to follow, so much happening, but great, great entertainment from the GT4 European Series. This circuit just keeps entertaining. No wonder it's been kept busy since 1922. Yes, it's more than a century old. Quite astonishing, this circuit, and it doesn't really feel old at all. It certainly worked from the outset. I personally would love to have the bank circuit back as part of the lap, and certainly even for some demo runs, but that is definitely something of the past. And now we still have the fabled Grand Prix circuit that just works so well for all concerned. So the AM Podium up into third place should be the crew 444. Also 4-team speed car. That should be Julien Ripper and Philippe Tatalmi. Second place crew, by my reckoning, and let's see the winning crew coming out in class. NM Racing Team, they've really had quite a run. Their Mercedes enjoying the honours to take the top step. It's Andy Cantu and Charles Dawson. Jean-Mathieu Leandri was heading for victory and his car broke down. So Charles Dawson and Andy Cantu on the top step, NM Racing Team Mercedes. Second place, the number 72 crew, the crew that just hanging on to the championship battle, Kevin Jimenez and Florent Grisot, their GPA Racing Aston Martin. Rafa Martinez presenting the trophies. And third place going to the 444 crew of Julien Ripper and Philippe Tatalmi, their team Speed Car Audi. So what a good meeting for the NM Racing Team. Great meeting for Elite Motorsport. But Team Speed Car with drivers on two of those podiums, they would have enjoyed it very, very much indeed. And of course, the double win for Robert Consani and Benjamin Lariche. Pausing for the final photo of the GT4 European Series visit to the Temple of Speed. The circuit here at Monza, 102 years old and still providing great, great racing across all the classes. So it's going to be goodbye at the end of an enthralling meeting. Do make sure you look at the finals. Those will be at Jeddah at the end of November. Will Elite Motorsport come out on top? Wait and see.